Welcome back to Pen and Reel. I'm your host, Uncle Joel. Let's talk Shazam. So, Future State Shazam is a very odd series. It runs into the issue that I have with most Future State stories, in that it's only 2 issues long. So there's not really a lot of room to tell a very compelling story, especially since it seems like it has to fit in with a number of different series. Now, this seems to take place after the Teen Titans Future State story, but it also leads into Black Adam, which is a backup in the Future State Suicide Squad book. And that's one of my issues that I have with the entire event. Like, there is a timeline that you can find for the event and where the different series take place, but that timeline isn't in the books or on the covers. And that's one of the difficulties with this Shazam book, is it does seem to fit between Teen Titans and the Black Adam series, and all of those deal with some of the same characters, as well as the Flash series. So all of these different series are dealing with similar concepts and some reoccurring characters, and essentially telling one storyline. But there's no clear indication of where to begin. From what I can tell, it would go Flash, then Teen Titans, then Shazam, and then Black Adam. Or maybe Flash and Teen Titans are interchangeable, I'm not really sure. But that's the whole issue, is it's not at all clear what order to read them in. But the way that this Shazam book is written, I didn't really feel like it had much of a conclusion. Like, it told a part of a story, but then the final page said, to be continued in Black Adam. So if you go into Future State Shazam like I did, not knowing that it has any connection with any other books, it kind of leaves you at a loss. This is a Shazam story, and it is very much focused on Shazam, but it heavily features Teen Titans characters, and the ending of it leads into another book, and doesn't really feel like much of a conclusion. Like, it ends Shazam's portion of the story, but it does so fairly abruptly, and it's just like, okay, read another book to get the rest of it. So honestly, I came away from this Shazam series fairly disappointed. I really like the character of Shazam, and I feel like there's a ton of potential for telling stories with him, especially within the DC universe. But if this is any indication of what DC has planned for Shazam going forward, I really don't like it, and I will not be along for the ride. Now, there were enough interesting things here that I did want to keep reading. It's just that the way that it fits into Future State as a whole, and telling, as being just a chapter in this overarching story, didn't really work for me. If you're picking up all of the Future State stories, or if you have some sort of roadmap on how to progress through these individual stories, then maybe it's worth reading. But as an independent work, I really was not happy with it. The story features Billy and Shazam being split as part of a deal in order to guard the Rock of Eternity. And I feel like there's a ton of potential there, especially how they had Shazam, or Captain Marvel as I know him, acting very out of character. And there's a lot of potential to be explored there. At the very least, they could really show how Billy grounds Shazam. And I'm sure that's been done before in past books, but I'm not familiar with it. But it's not really explored that well here, and in typical Future State fashion, they only had 2 issues, so there wasn't really room to explore a lot of that. So overall, of the few issues that I've read of Future State, I would say this is probably the weakest one. It just felt a bit jumbled, a bit rushed, and it felt like it was just plucked out of the center of an ongoing story with no real context and no real indication of where it came from or really where it's going. So yeah, very weak entry into Future State, and very disappointing as a fan of Shazam. But if you read the book, what did you think? Am I being too harsh on the Future State Shazam? Did you read the other books to give it better context so you could appreciate it more? And if you did read those other books, such as Teen Titans and Flash, how did it affect your enjoyment of Future State Shazam? Let me know down in the comments. I'm really curious to hear what you think. If you can help me out by hitting a like, I'd really appreciate it. Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on the rest of my Future State coverage, as well as other comic book related content such as East of West, Saga, Jason Aaron's Avengers, and more. And until next time, this is Uncle Joel saying, stay tangible.